Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects and heat pump specialists in your area. And by Atmos Financial. Bank better with a financial technology company that's powered by a portfolio of clean energy investments. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. Before we get into today's show, a quick correction from last week's show regarding Australia's new emissions regulations. I incorrectly suggested large SUVs would be exempt, but the reality is that larger vehicles will still have emissions rules to meet. They will just be less stringent. As we have just passed into the month of April, and I hope any April Fool's jokes you were subjected to were benign, we're seeing many automakers publish Q1 figures. So let's blat through our bunch in a quick roundup. Tesla was first out of the gate, releasing its Q1 estimates on the 2nd of April. It recorded a total of 433,371 vehicles produced and delivered 386,810. These figures are substantially lower than Wall Street had expected, and the first time since 2020 that Tesla's deliveries have dropped. Tesla stock fell as a result. Rivian announced production of 13,980 vehicles, 180 vehicles higher than Wall Street expected. It delivered 13,588, substantially higher than Wall Street expected. While losses per vehicle increased in Q1, Rivian plans to tackle that by pausing production at its main facility in Normal, Illinois, to carry out much-needed production line upgrades to save money. Hyundai had an incredibly good quarter for EV sales in the US, with sales doubling in March to give it a new Q1 record for EVs. It sold 6,822 Ioniq 5 EVs during the first quarter, while sales of the Ioniq 6 totaled 3,646. With Hyundai offering some truly impressive lease deals, expect sales to continue to remain strong for some time. Hyundai's sister brand Kia also had a great first quarter in the US, helped in part by strong interest for the EV9, which we'll be reviewing soon. The Kia EV9 sold just over 4,000 examples, while the EV6 added another 4,059 sales to its tally. As with Hyundai, Kia doesn't break out sales for its non-dedicated EVs, but even without incentive eligibility, Kia's eGMP platform EVs are increasing in popularity. Ford also enjoyed a great first quarter, buoyed by some pretty hefty incentive deals designed to get bums in seats. Ford's Q1 sales were up 86% year-on-year, with 20,223 EVs sold, split between 7,743 F-150 Lightnings, 9,589 Mustang Mach Es, and 2,891 e-Transits. It wasn't all good news for legacy auto, though. Volkswagen reported a Q1 drop in sales of 37% in the US, despite a brand-wide rise in sales of 21%. 6,167 ID4s were sold during the first quarter, with some analysts blaming uncertainty over tax credit eligibility earlier in the year and substantial pending upgrades for the newer model year, putting customers off buying for now. GM's EV sales also fell in Q1, down 21% year-over-year, with 16,425 EVs sold across its various brands. Of those, just over 7,000 were Chevy Bolt EV and Bolt EUV models, 5,800 were Cadillac Lyriq, and the remaining was split between Hummer EV models, Silverado EV and Blazer EV, as well as a few Bright Drop delivery vans. To finish sales and production, we're heading to China, where NIO celebrated a good end to its quarter, with strong March sales leading it to just about meet its recently revised Q1 delivery forecast of 30,000 EVs. It delivered 30,053 vehicles globally. Given that NIO's stock price has been hurting a lot in recent months, this is very good news for the EV firm. Meanwhile, BYD was celebrating after achieving its second best month of sales ever, recording plug-in sales in March of 301,631 EV and plug-in hybrids combined. Of those, 139,902 EVs were sold during March. It won't beat Tesla on quarterlies, but it's really not super far behind. Talking of Tesla, following on from the announcement last week that all Teslas capable of FSD would be given 1 month's free FSD operation, Tesla changed the name it uses for the feature. At the very end of last week, long after we had scripted and filmed the show, Tesla dropped the beta suffix from FSD and added supervised instead, which, depending on whom you listen to, is either a simple cosmetic change or a reflection of major improvements made to FSD. But as others have noted, it's worth reminding folks that FSD Supervised is still very much a Level 2 driver assistance feature, and the key word to pay attention to here is supervised. Like any other driver assistance feature on the market today, you still need to be actively engaged behind the wheel. We regularly hear concerns from would-be EV buyers about battery life, and we've spent a fair amount of time debunking old myths about battery replacement, frequency, and cost. This week, Chinese firm CATL, working in collaboration with Yutong Bus Company in China, unveiled what it says is its longest life battery pack ever. The LFP pack is said to have zero degradation for the first 1,000 charge-discharge cycles, and when fitted to a Yutong bus or truck, will come with a 1.5 million kilometre, 15-year battery warranty. Of course, commercial electric vehicles have different use cycles to privately owned EVs, but it's still very impressive. 1.5 million kilometres is just shy of 1 million miles, and I don't think it will be that long before this tech reaches consumer-grade EV battery packs. Fisker's future has been looking bleak for a number of weeks now, with financial troubles and failure to follow listing norms causing it to be delisted from the New York Stock Exchange last week. Now, in addition to defaulting from loan payments and offering its Ocean EV at massive discounts, we've learned this week that Fisker is now worrying about a new problem. 14 different complaints submitted to the US National Highway Traffic Safety Administration regarding an alleged intermittent failure of door latches and handles. Citing these complaints, NHTSA has opened what it says is a preliminary probe into the matter, very much standard for any vehicle it's received numerous complaints about. Fisker hasn't publicly responded to media requests for comment. One of the fastest growing segments in electric transportation, at least in terms of investment, is the electric vertical takeoff and landing world. And this week, Chinese firm AutoFlight was celebrating its first eVTOL delivery. Having just received type certification for its carry-all cargo eVTOL craft from the Civil Aviation Administration of China, AutoFlight was celebrating delivering its first Prosperity eVTOL craft to a currently unnamed Japanese corporate customer. The AutoFlight Prosperity is a 5-seat eVTOL craft primarily built for commuting. Earlier this year, an AutoFlight Prosperity craft flew from Shenzhen to Zhuhai in China, a trip of 29 minutes by air, but one which would ordinarily take 3 hours on the road due to sea crossings. We are a long way from eVTOL everywhere, but I'm eager to see how eVTOL changes short-distance travel. As Tesla CEO Elon Musk continues down a path that sees him amplifying some of the most hateful and conspiratorial voices of the internet, there are few days where he isn't hitting the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Now, market intelligence firm Caliber is warning that there's significant evidence Elon Musk's behaviour is affecting Tesla's brand image. It cites its own surveys in which the number of survey respondents wanting a Tesla as their next car has shrunk from 70% in November 2021 to 31% in February this year. In the same report, the company claims that consideration scores for other luxury brands, like Mercedes-Benz, BMW and Audi, have risen to between 44 and 47%, and it states that 83% of the folks it talked to, sample size unknown, connect Elon Musk with Tesla. And finally, for this segment, Chevrolet has officially confirmed that its first edition RST variant of the Silverado EV will get an EPA-approved 440 miles of range per charge. While Chevrolet has been making and selling limited numbers of the Silverado EV work truck since last year, the RST variant, which is being sold less as a work truck and more as a lifestyle vehicle, is due to enter into production later this year and will come with plenty of creature comforts. The range estimate of 440 miles is far better than the 400 miles originally quoted by Chevrolet, as is the official starting price for the same. While the $96,495 fully loaded version puts it into Hummer EV territory, it is nearly $10,000 less than Chevrolet had previously suggested it would be. Our short shorts are coming in a second, but first a word from a long-time video sponsor of the channel, Energy Sage. Energy Sage helps homeowners connect with local, verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join a community solar program, or get a heat pump installed. I used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our home, and our Energy Sage verified installers were professional, knowledgeable, and even put us in touch with an amazing credit union that allowed us to finance our solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no-obligation services and get the ball rolling today. If you choose to use an Energy Sage installer for your project, we will get a small referral fee, so you'll be helping the channel too. And as someone whose local utility put rates up by 18% at the beginning of the year, I'm very glad I've got solar, so won't you join me? And now it's time for short shorts. We start today's short shorts with 3 recalls. The first involves Porsche Taycans and Audi e-Tron GTs, which have been recalled due to a potential for battery short circuit within the pack. Owners are being asked to only charge to 80% until their cars have been examined under warranty. Also in the recall pile, Chrysler has recalled a small number of Pacifica minivans, which we believe includes some Pacifica plug-in hybrids, to address windscreens that may not have been properly bonded to the vehicle, increasing risk of detachment in a collision. Finally, for the recalls, Livewire is recalling some of its S2 Del Mar electric motorcycles to address a concern that some motorcycles may have left the factory with improperly torqued rear wheel axle fasteners. It will begin to notify customers of affected bikes. BYD is continuing its sales assault on the European market, with rumours suggesting it's preparing to officially introduce the Seagull EV to the UK for the first time. While not confirmed, the Seagull could become the UK's most affordable, highway-capable EV. Tesla was celebrating a massive production milestone at the tail end of last week, having just produced its 6 millionth electric vehicle. It's an incredible milestone and a testament to the firm's commitment to electrifying the auto industry. Rivian was celebrating its own milestone this week as its 100,000th EV rolled off its production line in Normal, Illinois. While that's a far smaller milestone than Tesla's most recent, Rivian took far less time to reach 100,000 EVs than Tesla. Just weeks after its Xiaomi XU7 was first revealed as a production vehicle, the company has already delivered its first examples to customers. That said, it's warning the 90,000 reservation holders it now has that orders could take up to 6 months or more to fulfill for certain variants. Modular EV company Helix has opened its first driver registration program for fleet drivers in Southeast Asia. The company, which specialises in low-cost delivery vehicles that can be made locally in pop-up factories, says its first factory will be operational in Singapore next year. As part of a renewed sales drive, Tesla has announced a new 0% interest loan product for customers in China. The time-limited offer might seem to be a great deal for qualified individuals, but it does require customers to make a sizable down payment. Meanwhile, in the US, Tesla is already offering sizable discounts at the start of the new quarter in an attempt to lower its inventory volume. While some models are getting more than $7,500 off MSRP, most discounts are much smaller. Tesla is not the only company looking to offer deep discounts on in-stock vehicles. Mercedes-Benz, whose EQS has, on average, a 48% depreciation in its first year, is now offering up to $20,000 off outgoing 2023 model year EVs, because this year's models feature dramatically improved battery packs and specs. Sticking with discounts, Subaru is working very hard to encourage new customers to sign up for a Solterra lease, slashing headline lease deals in the US for its 2023 Solterra Premium by 41% to $241 per month. Also eager to keep customers coming in is Kia, which this week has increased discounts on its EV9 to $7,500, effectively the same kind of discount that it hopes to offer when the EV9 enters into US production and is eligible for incentives early next year. And finally, for incentives, Chevrolet is trying to encourage existing Bolt EV customers to upgrade to the Equinox EV. It's going to offer up to $3,000 in additional cash-on-hood incentives for those Bolt EV owners willing to make the jump. With the Smart brand now firmly out of the small car market, the very last Smart ForTwo rolled off the production line last week in Hambach, France. The final model to be made on the iconic two-seat design was an all-electric ForTwo cabriolet. After it was removed from sale in some European countries due to its lack of traditional current protection circuitry, Easy Home and Easy Charge wall boxes have been approved for sale in Switzerland after heavy testing proved they met all required European safety standards. The Drive Electric campaign has received a $100 million funding donation from the IKEA Foundation as part of its goal of helping ensure an equitable, sustainable and fair transition to electric vehicles in African, Southeast Asian and Latin American countries. Ultium Cells' Spring Hill production facility has officially begun slipping production battery cells to General Motors for use in its vehicles. GM's entire Ultium-based vehicle production has suffered major bottlenecks to this point, and the shipping will now mean that will help ease that problem. Renault's EV division Ampere is said to be working on accelerating development for the all-new electric Twingo. While Ampere didn't end up getting a stock market flotation as had previously been expected, it's now giving itself 3 years to get the Twingo EV on dealer forecourts. BMW has reportedly started construction on a brand new battery assembly facility in Straußkirchen, Germany. Local media reports say that BMW will soon begin construction and groundwork to establish on-site offices for construction companies to use while building the actual facility. UK firm Vauxhall, the British sibling to Opel, has unveiled a new UK-only version of the Mokka Electric, called the Mokka Electric Griffin. Thusly named because of the Vauxhall Griffin-adorned badge. It will start from just under £30,000 sterling on the road. For April 1st this year, many different automakers decided to cater to our canine companions with a range of different automotive products just for dogs. Our favourite, though, was a Nissan EV built just for dogs with autonomous drive and paw print recognition. It's official. Volta Trucks is back from the grave, and not in a freaky zombie kind of way. Administrators have helped broker an agreement to bring Volta's commercial vehicle to market, and deliveries are expected to begin, all being well, later this year. Ford has confirmed a change in its future hybrid and electric vehicle plans, expanding hybrid vehicle production while delaying plans for a 3-row electric SUV. Ford's new big EV project will be an all-electric pickup truck, which we can expect to reach market production in 2 years' time. StoreDot confirmed this week that its silicon-dominant extreme fast charging battery cells have reached more than 2,000 consecutive extreme fast charging cycles in the lab, the first battery of its type to do this. After 2,000 XFC cycles, StoreDot says cells retained more than 80% of their original capacity. A European NGO, Transport and Environment, published a new paper this week in which it predicts that 1/4 of all EVs sold in Europe this year will have been made in China. This is an increase from 19.5% of all EVs sold in Europe last year. Ford has sent dealerships in the US pricing for its 2024 Mustang Mach E, with the entry-level standard range rear-wheel drive variant starting from just shy of $40,000. Meanwhile, the all-new rally trim variant is expected to start for around $60,000. Editing Nikki here. The next story was going to be talking about Tesla's more affordable EV and the way it's going to be produced, but since then Reuters ran a story claiming that Tesla has cancelled plans to bring that vehicle to market, something which Elon Musk then later refuted on Friday. We wanted to throw it in because people get upset if we don't cover Tesla stories immediately. Nissan and Honda have reportedly struck a new deal that will see the two firms work together to bring an electric pickup truck to the North American market. While details are sparse, rumours suggest the deal will also cover a new electric Mitsubishi crossover and a plug-in hybrid Nissan. We've seen plug-in vehicles get some truly appealing lease deals in the last few months as automakers try to entice new buyers behind the wheel. This week we got wind of a new one from BMW, which is now offering its i4 at just under $500 a month. That's expensive, but it now means it's the cheapest BMW you can lease today. And finally for the segment, sales data from last year shows that in the fourth quarter, EVs accounted for more than 5% of new car sales in more than 31 different countries around the world. In many of those countries, EV market share is significantly higher than 5%. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are next, but first, a quick word from one of today's video sponsors, Atmos Financial. Imagine a bank where your savings not only grow, but also go towards growing a greener world. That is exactly what Atmos Financial does for you. With Atmos, every dollar in your checking and savings account is funding projects that light up lives with solar energy rather than fossil fuels. Atmos is banking that builds a better tomorrow with every swipe of your card because it's committed to investing 100% in clean, equitable and sustainable progress. With a 3.5% savings rate and a mobile app, your finances and the climate can go hand in hand. It charges no monthly fees and there are no minimums keeping you awake at night, and it offers accessible solar loans for those who want to give the fossil fuel industry the ultimate middle finger. So by joining Atmos using the link below, you're not only choosing a smarter way to bank, you're planting seeds for a healthier earth. And every sign-up supports this channel, so we can keep bringing you the content you love. I'm personally a customer and I love knowing that I'm helping save money while making sure that money doesn't end up funding the fossil fuel industry. And now it's time for those last two stories. It is no secret that in the internal combustion engine world, high-performance, high-octane race car variants of in-production vehicles can dramatically boost sales of road-going models. And that halo effect is also now starting to appear in the EV world, with more and more companies looking to make track-tweaked race car variants of in-production EVs. This week, Hyundai unveiled a car that's bound to get race fans a little hot under the collar, the Hyundai Ioniq 5N EN1 Cup car. Basically a track-certified, track-ready race car variant of the already spicy Ioniq 5N, it promises an all-electric alternative to the Elantra N1 with race-approved roll cage, bucket seat, 4-point seatbelt and even a modified charging point for fast charging at the track. Making its debut at the Hyundai N Festival, Hyundai hopes the Ioniq 5 EN1 will spawn a new, exciting race car series for professional drivers. And so do I. And finally, running a company is hard work, be it a little small YouTube channel like this one or a multinational company worth billions. There's a lot of pressure to make sure that the money you make is well spent in ways that can help the company grow. And while small firms might only have to justify their cash flows to accountants, their partners, and the tax office, larger firms that are publicly traded face far more scrutiny about where the money goes and what it's spent on. And that's doubly so when the company isn't turning a profit yet because it's a startup that's still ramping up production on its first big killer product. So when EV startup Canoo filed its year-end financials on Monday, recording a net loss of $302 million for the year despite $886 million in revenue. Everyone was surprised to see that the company's official books recorded a payment of $1.7 million over the year, double its revenue, to pay for private jet flights for its company CEO Tony Aquila, split between first-class airfare on commercial airliners and reimbursements to him for using his private jet for Canoo business. Given the company's recent reverse stock split to avoid being delisted, it doesn't look good that the CEO is doing the whole 1%er lifestyle thing now, does it? And on that note, we are in fact done for the day. As always, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They have been advocating for EVs since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make the switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. Plus, if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. You can find out more by heading to electricauto.org. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping you make the step towards energy self-sufficiency through solar on your roof of your home, joining a community solar project, or by getting a heat pump installed. And thanks to Atmos Financial. Bank better by following the link below. As usual, we'd all love it if you'd consider supporting us from just $1 a month on Patreon, or about $10.08 a year. The overwhelming majority of our income comes from Patreon, and it's thanks to you that I'm able to pay the team and make sure everyone has healthcare. So if you'd like to help support the channel, follow the links below. You can book myself or Kate for a personal one-on-one consulting session or a full-blown presentation to your company or community group. And also don't forget to visit our swag store for our new design for April, growing your own EV charging in honour of spring in the Northern Hemisphere. It, along with the rest of our TE merch, is there for your swag needs. And of course, we'll be back next week as usual with content going out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Before I leave today, I just want to thank you all for putting up with some delays this week. Em has been off sick, Kate is still not back from her convalescence, and it's basically been me doing the videos and Erin doing the thumbnails. So thank you for that. But I also want to acknowledge that some people have been getting extremely frustrated with us for appearing to not deal with trolls in the comments section. Some of you have written angry emails, some of you have unsubscribed, and some have actually stopped financially supporting this channel. Know, however, that we do report spam, hate and trolls to YouTube, but there's not an easy way of saying this. YouTube's algorithm doesn't like bans, and when we do report someone, nothing happens beyond that. So please know that we don't like this hate any more than most of you, and after a week of being sent hateful stuff that I'd rather not repeat here, know that we are doing our best, but it's hip and cool to be hateful these days. Luckily, I'm not hip and cool. So that's good. Just a reminder, if you are in a group currently feeling the full force brunt of hate at the hands of people who do not want you to exist, trolls or not, remember that you're not alone. You're valid, you're loved, and you are freaking awesome. So until next time, stay safe regardless of your identity or who you love. Be an amazing ally, be kind, register to vote and get active in a campaign, and please, for the sake of everyone's future, keep evolving.